Hello and welcome back to another video, guys. Now that's right, today we're back with another movie review, and that is for the much anticipated James Gunn, The Suicide Squad. Now that's right, the film's finally out. I mean, it seems like it's been a long time coming because like most films that are coming out in 2021 and 2022, COVID slowed the production down so poorly. It's so annoying how long we've had to wait for some of these films. But it is finally here, The Suicide Squad. Let's do a bit of background on this, because this is the second film. So we have the original film from 2016, directed by David Ayer, where I do feel a bit bad for him, because the first movie was butchered in the editing room. So much was apparently taken out, and we were left with what was a very sloppy, and let's face it, not a very good movie. I don't think it's awful. I don't think it's quite awful. It's down there, don't get me wrong. But, you know, there's some fun action sequences to it. It is what it is. But we all wanted a better movie. So we were all ready for this one when we heard that James Gunn was coming on board, I think. Because one of the interesting things is when the 2016 one came out, you could tell it was trying to be very Guardians-y with its wacky humour, outrageous characters, the music that was being played throughout. And what's I find really interesting is that for the second one, they just got the Guardians of the Galaxy director. So yeah, James Gunn is brought on board to make this movie. So the plot of this film is we have some returning characters, some new members to the Suicide Squad join on top, and all of these characters are thrown into a new location to try and locate some information, retrieve it for Miss Amanda Waller, sort of similar to the first film, but of course there's some villains along the way, there's some bad guys. Now, I'm going to try and do this without spoiling it, which is kind of hard, because we all know the deal with Suicide Squad. Half of them are never going to live, because they've all got, like, the chips in their head, which... So what I'll say about the film is the only real negative I have is that I've had some issues with the pacing of the movie, especially in the first act. There's a character who I'm not going to spoil that gets isolated. They're by themselves, and it sort of cuts to them a couple times, and it pulled me out, and I was like, oh, I want to be with the main Suicide Squad. I like the main crew we've got here, but I keep getting pulled away to this character that's sort of on their own. It's only throughout the first act that this character's on their own, but then eventually they come back in, and I think the second and third act flow a lot better. It's just the first act where I have a couple problems. But saying that, the film itself, other than that, I've really got no issues. There's some things I love. For a start, the new additional characters, I really enjoyed. My favourite, personally, was King Shark, voiced by Sylvester Stallone. I thought he was great, had some really good one-liners, really funny. Of course, not Deadshot, that's Will Smith. Bloodsport, I think his name is, played by Idris Elba. Perfect character and actor to sort of replace that Will Smith-esque lead in the role. Shame he couldn't come back because of scheduling issues. Hopefully for the third one we'll see him again. I really enjoyed Polka Dot Man. I thought Polka Dot Man was really fun. The Rat Catcher was really great. She got some really great character development. And of course Harley Quinn returning was really good. Captain Boomerang was fun. Rick Flag was also really cool. John Cena as Peacemaker. You know, John Cena's acting is always rocky in whatever he's in. You know, he's not really... he didn't come into fame being an actor. He came into it being a WWE wrestler. So, everything I've seen him in so far, his acting's always been a bit like this. This is the first time where his acting was actually pretty solid, I've got to say. Best performance from him so far. And I loved how ridiculous his costume was. Yeah, and I like the Thinker a lot, Mr. Peter Capaldi. Really good to see him getting a big role. Viola Davis, of course, also fantastic. And I got to give a shout out to Weasel as well. He didn't do loads in the movie, but he cracked me up whenever he was on screen. It was so ridiculous, I loved it. I love the gore factor to this movie. I loved it. I thought it worked so well. It was so great. It really added this extra layer to the movie. And the plot itself worked really well. It was a lot better than the first movie. It was a lot more interesting. Felt just a lot more well constructed, well thought about. There aren't as many plot holes that I can pick out of it. And just not as much weirdness, like Cara Delevingne kissing people and turning them into her monsters. Yeah, I'm pleased that didn't come back. And the good thing about this movie is it doesn't feel like a Hollywood product. It feels like you've got James Gunn and he's put his flair into this movie. You can go, oh, this is a stylistic film. It feels like it's been made by someone with a vision. It's not Hollywood just, or Warner Brothers, like creeping their way into the editing room and going, no, do it this way, do it. You know, it actually feels like there's a mind behind this film. There's a singular mind. And he's ran with it. And it's really, really good. Some of the cinematography was beautiful in this movie. So, you know, some of the bits like we see in the trailers, Harley Quinn when she's walking towards the camera and there's all flowers coming behind. I'm all about that stuff. It looks great. Yeah, I mean, it doesn't really make much sense in the movie. You know, it's sort of just there for visual effect, but it looks great. It's so much more interesting than the first movie, which just had this dull look the whole time. You know, this was great. It had some nice colour and some flair to it. The score as well was good. There were some songs played throughout the movie and they worked really well. And the deaths, without spoiling them, were really good. Some of them hit hard and there were some really unexpected ones. And that's just what we want from the Suicide Squad. I was very impressed with this movie. It sort of lived up to the hype. I thought it'd be good and it was good. It might be my favourite DCEU film. Yeah. Which is saying a lot, really, because there's a couple really good ones in the DCU now. I really like Shazam. I think that film is consistently better than this, but I think this film took more risks, which paid off really well. So I'm a bit, don't know which one I prefer out of those two at the minute, but it's up there. It's a really solid movie. The Suicide Squad for me is gonna get an 8 out of 10. What the hell? I really liked it. Really huge step up from the first movie. Huge step up. I hope that when they come to do the third one, that they'll get James Gunn back, because I know he's going to be busy working on Guardians of the Galaxy, the holiday special, and then Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 next. But hopefully after he's done those, he can come back and start work on the third Suicide Squad movie. It'd be great to see maybe Will Smith come back as well for the third one. That would be really awesome. Also, the end credit scene, I want to say, was really good. Got me really excited about something. But anyway, there we go, guys. If you want to hear more, if you want to hear me talk about this movie more, be sure to check out my podcast. There's a link in the description to it. Me and Ryan are going to be uploading a new episode later today, which is all about the Suicide Squad as well. So you get to see me go back and forth with someone. So it might be a bit more interesting with some of you. Also, no live stream tonight. I do apologise. I've had a bit of a family emergency come up that I need to attend to later. But anyway, thank you so much for watching, guys. As always, don't forget to hit the subscribe button, like the video, leave a message. And as always, I'll see you next time for another video. Bye-bye.